Boku no. Boku no. Boku no. Boku no. Hero. Academy. God, it's been so long. Zika zika boo. Zika zika boo. Brandino. Alright, so I'm gonna spark note up until about like the last chapter because a lot of stuff that's happened between my last review and this one was like incredible. I think I'm gonna check right now. I think I might have done a video on this already and just have not posted it, but I don't know because I just don't remember. Okay, so this is just for the episode. Damn, I don't think I reviewed it. At least I just don't remember. But basically what happened thus far in the Boku universe, I'm super spark noting this, but it's like a lot of stuff freaking happened. God, I want to look back. I'm gonna have to look back now. Because I have to freaking fly through. Okay, so the guy that went after the little seahorse kid is actually the same guy that killed his parents. He's got some muscle tendons thing, so he kind of has the kind of a similar ability to All for One. Midora finally puts him down with a super Detroit smash. But he's like super broken up because he was trying to get away in time and the dude wouldn't let him. Eraserhead is once again going off against people by himself because he kind of has to do what he has to do. And the cat people are teaming up because one of the other cat girls I think is like knocked out. Shadow Falcon is on a rampage because it's nighttime, and since he doesn't have light to kind of keep his shadow at bay, he's like rampaging. And of course Bakugo and Todoroki are there to kind of save him from himself. But then the main plan of these villains at this point in time were actually to steal Bakugo because they needed him for something. And turns out they were trying to make him switch sides because they felt like the way that he acted as he was as a hero was really more villainous than it was like a hero. So I'm like scanning through this. Sorry, I'm like looking down the entire time. I'm gonna sit up while I do this, but they kind of get away, and this magician guy basically steals a couple of them. Fakes him out, and they kind of get away. And like the Hero Society is like, yeah. And then, of course, Midora wants to go out and save his friend. Kind of that Naruto wants to save Sasuke, even though this time Sasuke didn't want to leave the village, kind of thing. Midora's pretty beat up, and the nurse is like, stop beating yourself up or you're gonna die. But Midora's like, I want to go, and then Aida's like, it'll be stupid if I let you guys go by yourself. Like, this is unacceptable, you guys are freaking ridiculous. I'm coming too. Aida, my bad. Aida, my bad. Basically, the villains are sitting there saying, like, you know, we offer you all of this power, how come you won't take it? And Bakugo is like, because I ain't no bitch, that's why. They basically, the actual Hero Society, like, finally team up to come get Bakugo. But I think they go to the wrong place. So, they bust into the wrong factory, and this is Giant Woman and blah, blah, blah. They find these little canisters of, like, people, and they kind of, like, figure out it's a decoy. All Might just happens to go to the right place where they actually were, which just so happens to be the same place where all the kids are at. And after All Might busts it up a little bit... Oh, wait. actually? Okay, yeah, my bad. All Might happened to be in the wrong place, like I said earlier. Giant Girl and some of the people, like I think the Wood Kamui guy, or Kamui, which is the wooden guy, they all went to the right place. And what happened was the rest of the squad basically summoned the beast out of the tanks, which is why the girl was like ill. And then all of a sudden, after they kind of decimated the place, a man appears. And this man just so happens to be the death scorn that is the other half of the All for One power. So he basically like dogs the whole hero squad that's there. And like the 3 kids that are like sitting behind this wall are like, it's like a fear that it's like deer in headlights fear, but like times 5 billion. So they're sitting there just stuck, like frightened as shit, because they know if they move an inch, if they breathe too loudly, they are legitimately dead. Like these heroes that survive this are only surviving it because they're heroes and they know how to like fall the right way and take a hit. Like if they didn't know, bruh, they'd be dead too. Like these guys are in critical condition. So all 4 or all 5 of them are kind of like behind this fence or behind this like broken piece of like concrete, just like holding their breath because they know it's a wrap if they get shown out. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to recap, but it's too good. It's too good. The Boku's too good. Anyway. So now basically the rest of the team, which was Bakugo and them, well, not the team, but the villain squad that took Bakugo, they basically got teleported in front of this guy, which is the freaking death guy. Like, it's about to be over if this guy catches them. So they got teleported in front of him, and he was just like, Bakugo. Well, he's wrapped up, so he just has like his teeth out. So it's just kind of like trying to do my best. Join me, Bakugo. Kind of thing. And you know, Bakugo is like in the face of like annihilation and is like, you know, what can I do? Meteora, because I was about to say Medora, Toriko. Meteora is basically about to like fly out into danger, all reckless abandon, and like the rest of the squad have to like hold them back, like, no dog, this is the one time that you cannot fly out there. You will be obliterated. So then before like the guy could basically reach out and grab Bakugo, All Might shows up with the greatness, flies in, tries to connect the blow, but of course, you know, this guy, he's a villain. He's basically went toe-to-toe with All Might on numerous occasions. It's not going to go down that easily. So now, Meteora and the rest of the gang pull off like the most incredible escape move ever. So it's like, at the split second they saw the opening, they flew in there, grabbed Bakugo, and flew out of there. The villains trying to catch up with them. Of course, the heroes that could still hang on stopped them in the track. Gran Torino, of course, popped up, and he had enough speed left to get to the battle zone. And finally, All Might can go all out. All for one. Now, the sucky part about what happens next is that this helicopter comes in and freaking flies above and is televising the entire event. And it's like, it's kind of not something that should be televised, but it's like in this world of heroes, they need to see that, you know, they need to see what their heroes is up to. And it just so happens to be like right when All Might is running out of power is when this helicopter shows up, and now he's down, and it's like the symbol of peace. He's like super frail, super bleedy, just freaking like, just looks like he can't do anything for them. So then like, out of all of the stuff that's happening, you know, All Might is at his limit. He can't really move much anymore. And, like, the other guy's just like, at your power, huh? So this is what the symbol of peace is about. Failing when it counts. And it's like, All Might's like, I can't. And it's like he's thinking back on his old master, which just happens to be this woman who was, like, super pretty. And, like, I don't know how she died. She died some way, which I feel like is something that happened to her that caused her to be, like, villainous. Or I don't know what happened to her, so, whatever. But she died. So it's like, he's thinking back and how she was always like, you gotta have a smile. That's how a hero saves the day. Even when they're at the lowest of the low, they gotta smile through it and let people know that it's alright. And it's like, this one, it just so happens to be some girl in rubble. It's like, oh my, you have to win! And then like everybody's like, win! 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 Like giving him the strength to fight on. So then like his arm just fucking goes from fail to the gun, and he's like, the strength is within me. The strength of your cause, the strength of your hope, all in my fist. So now prior to this, Toriyama, which is Handface, he was basically getting sucked back into this portal because the Mist Dormammu, because I still just don't remember his name. He pulled everybody back to save their lives, and like Tomura is like, no, Sensei, I can do it. And he's like, live, Tomura. And it looks like this flashback, I guess. This guy basically pulled Tomura out of the slums because I guess All Might did something to Tomura's family, and Tomura's like super pissed about it, and now like this other guy basically falling to evil, and then now like he wants to please his sensei, but his sensei is like giving him a chance to live on, which is kind of heartfelt, even though he's a villain, and it's kind of like, what's going on here? But All Might's charging every last ounce of juice into that fist, like he's letting it go for the goal. And Kamui is getting people out, and you know, they're like moving everybody out of the zone because they know All Might has like but so much juice left, but when he uses his power, like it is destruction. So it's like the All for One guy, this is One for All, which I don't know which power is like each other's because it's like the same thing, but he basically summons up this freaking demon fist, and it's like, we're gonna see whose blow is stronger, and he's like, I know who you transferred the power to, that Meteora kid, huh? You think he's gonna be your successor? And All Might's like, like you knew? But All Might's like, I'm not gonna lose. They do this giant collide, and then like, because like when I was reading this, I'm so surprised I didn't do a freaking review on this yet. But when I was reading it, there's this part in the chapter where All Might's like looking at himself from the inside and seeing like his flame slowly like burning out, and he's trying to protect it from the air, because the air can just blow this thing out, like how weak the flame is. So he's like trying to protect it to keep it warm, but it's like you can see his power is dwindling. Okay, so yeah, the enemy is All for One, and then the power is One for All. So then, like, the last scene, he's like, all these smashes I was throwing, I didn't put my back into it. Like, I didn't give you the real hit. And it's like, at the last blow, the United States of Smash. Like, if that's any more patriotic, like, come on, Japan. It's kind of cool because it's like, it almost harpens back to like how the United States is, like that country where they may not be the smartest, but god damn it, they got heart. And it's like, this punch, it's just like, it brings me back to Choji and Naruto. It's a lot of Naruto. Bring me back to Choji when this punch is heavier than your life. Like, that punch that just has everything, like gravity behind it. It's got so much weight on it, and it's like, whoo, that punch, whoo, woo. So then like All Might uses the last bit of his power to show, I'm still here, with like the strong arm, but then he automatically fizzles back out, and he points at the camera like, you're next. And it's like, that's kind of like for the crowd, they were like, yeah, nobody's standing up to All Might, he's the greatest. But like Meteora picked it up as like, oh shit, I gotta live up to that, I gotta follow that act. Like, that's gotta be me. You're looking at it and you're just thinking like, god damn, All Might is incredible. Like, he just, everything, like, oh, he's such, like, you can see how weak he is, but he just manages to freaking just pull it out. Just at the last minute, just able to freaking just have that last bit of fire left. just enough left in the tank, just enough left in the chamber to unload on this. There's so many things here that could be taken out of context, but so now Torumu has a new head to hunt, which is basically Midoriya's head. And now that the world knows what the symbol of peace looks like, this super frail guy, and All Might can never use his power again because he literally burned out the last of his one for all power. It's sad to see him because it's like, you know, he's in the hospital, he's really beat up, Gran Torino's pretty beat up, and freaking he's just like, you know, All Might's just like, man, now the symbol of peace is really dead. Like, they've been trying to kill me for years, or kill the symbol for years, but it's like, it's really gone. The Gran Torino's like, it's not gone yet, son. Another symbol is just gonna rise in its place. Everybody's like reprimanded because they freaking broke the rules, and, you know, everybody's like recovering, and finally, you know, Meteora's like, oh man, All Might, I don't think I could do this anymore. And All Might's like, God! Like, punches him with his like weak arm. Meteora, my boy, I gotta retire. All I could do is my strong form, which like the craziest part about All Might is like his quirk. His quirk. Like the thing you thought, like the thing I always thought about All Might was like his quirk. I thought it was like the All for One thing was when he used it, he went into that super buff form, and like that's how he unlocked the All. No, that buff form was legitimately just his quirk. That's just his quirk. Like the All for One power is a whole nother power. So it's like that buff form is something that he could always do, but it's like now it's like taxing on his body because he's missing organs and stuff. But it's like, my man, the symbol of peace from before in his baggy clothes, because he knows if he would power up, it'd fit like super tight. But it's just like, wow, like everybody's safe, and it was so beautiful. So many tears. And then you get to see why Bakugo's such a loud mouth, because his mom is exactly the same way. Which I thought that was like his older sister, but no, that's his mom. I'm like, dang. Mom kind of good looking. and his dad is like way too nice. Like his dad is like, oh, they're like, shut up. He's like, oh, okay. Like, how's your dad like the sweetest guy, and he's got these two freaking like ridiculous kids. And then like, and now what's happening now is like they're basically saying to all of the young heroes they have to take them in because they don't know what threats are coming. Just this thing alone is like the world just isn't safe anymore. Like the kids need to be ready. Like they need to be ready now. Like before this was just a game to kind of test their skills. Now it's like, yo, they need to get prepared. And the only way that we can protect them is by getting them out of the way of you guys, their extended family, because it's like the villain's going to come after them, which is going to hurt you, which is going to cause them to go out of whack. So it's like, we have to get these kids out of here. They are the future of this entire school and the hero life in general. So it's like, we have to get them out. And like, after they go to all the houses, everybody's like, yeah, send him off. He needs the training, blah, blah, blah. But Meteora's mom is like, no, he's not going to go. She's being super adamant. I'm like, God damn, like. But then I'm thinking like, oh, she's coming from a mom perspective. Like, this school has been beating the shit out of her son day in and day out. And like, she's so stuck on the fact that he's such a small and frail kid. Like, it's like she doesn't even see that this guy just gained like 20 pounds of muscle out of nowhere. But it's like, she still sees him as her baby, and he can't go. And she's like, Mom, I can handle myself. And she's like, I'm your mom, goddammit. You're gonna have to listen to me. Like, this is dangerous, you know. And he's just pissed, and he runs and all this other stuff, and you know, All Might freaking like bows down, like, I swear to God I'll protect this kid with my life. Like, this is my honored, bound promise. Like, I'm already dying, and I'll put my life on the line. Like, he really wanted her to accept, but she was still just like, no. But then, like, finally it got through to her and he could go. So now they're off to boarding school. Whoopee. So then they're at the school now, and they're kind of like learning about the rooms and stuff. And then the girls and the guys, kind of like day in life. And we get to see. They're trying to see everybody's room, and the girls want to see everybody's room, and it's kind of like day in life stuff. And like grape juice is trying to find a way to get the girls to come to his room, but he's super creepy about it, and they're like, no. But then like one of the most random guys is just like, hey, I bake, and they're like, yeah, cake. Girls. So now they're coming up with special moves. Here we go. So All Might had to step in for a second because Midoro is about to make his special move some type of smash move. And it's like, his first thing of advice is like, stop imitating me, dog. Be yourself. Be yourself. Midoro is going to the, I guess, tech lab to figure out a way to kind of help his moveset out. Which I'm thinking like, build yourself like some leg and arm gauntlets that have shock absorbers so that when you do release the punch, the shock wave that's coming out of it won't necessarily ricochet back into your arm and destroy your muscles. Like the shock will be dispersed from your arm, but it'll still come out through your fist. So if you can figure out a way to do that. And then the door blows up. Oh, it's the tech girl. I knew she was back. Because I'm like, if something's blowing up, it's got to be that tech girl from Class B. Of course. The freaking managed to land right in the vicinity to where boob can be viewed. Also touching. And then my girl is over there like, come on, bruh, I'm trying to get with her, and you're gonna fuck it up. Actually, probably not, because this is gonna make old Uraka stir up some more feelings and really go after Midoriya, which I'm like, yeah, go. Tokoyami is Falcon Black. That's what his name was. As soon as he said upgrades, upgrades? Oh god. So if they're making big changes to an outfit, it's gotta be freaking acknowledged by the higher ups. So if he wants to get like shock absorbers and that's a little much, then he's gotta write a whole paper as to why Meteor needs shock absorbers. You know, he keeps breaking his arms, but you know, this girl is way too close to Uraka's man, son. She all up on him. So they're all working on their quirk skill. Seeing their powers. Oh, my man is a kick master! excuse my legs, but Midoriya just gave me some hope for those Taekwondo users out there. My kind of style. All the powers in the leg. God. Like that's the face. Alright, so there's a scene in, what chapter is this? I don't even know. I'll figure it out. But there's a scene in one of the newer chapters where, of course, Uraka is like, I'm not in love. But then, like, she's looking at Midoriya out there training. And, like, the way that they glamour... You know, I'm gonna just look at this. Like, look at how glamored up she is. Like, the lines... Like, you can't really see it via the picture, but the lines are, like, way softer. And it almost, like, looks like she's emanating, like, heat. Like, she loves him. Ooh, yeah! So that was 103. I'm guessing that basically this exam is... They're supposed to land kill blows. I thought they were going to be landing targets, like they was going to have just like standing targets in buildings. I'm guessing it probably is that, but what they're doing first is trying to take out the UA Academy, since they're the top of the line and everybody knows their powers because they were on TV. So strategize. So the sucky part about the UA team that kind of circled up and why Bakugo and Todoroki kind of dipped out was they picked up on it immediately that, look, they're coming after us, so we might as well get into a spot where we can have tactical advantage. But like the rest of the class is like huddled up because now they know, oh, everybody's gunning for us, so now we really got to stick together. And like the people who feel like they're at the top of the game just decided, nah, we're gonna do this ourselves. So they're on the counter offensive, and I didn't expect Phone Jack to have a shockwave like that, but she's definitely come up. Acid spray, learned a new way. That's pretty cool. So he has a backfire move too, where his Shindo, which was the dude that Bakugo basically smacked the hand away from. In previous chapter, if you haven't seen it already, Bakugo is like, nah, dog. Because Shindo was like, I want to fight you, and I want to fight you, with his eyes. But he's like, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, with his mouth. But anyway, he's got basically a quake move. And it kind of works how Meteora's One for All kind of works, where the power he produces out will backfire because of the strain. And as in his case, the reverberations cause him to be stable in his place. Like, he can't really move after that. So, and he did a freaking big move. Of course, the announcer guy, which is like the head principal of whatever this test is super bored. Okay, so the super powerful guy in one of the last episodes that did like a bow, like he's sorry for being so excited. He's got wind power. Like, he's gauntleted up in these giant clothes and his big cape. But he's got like massive power. Some serious aim too. Oh, the spots are on their clothes. Oh. So each of them have like little markers on their clothes. I didn't pick up on that. Okay, so there aren't any just random targets. Okay, so then I gotta stop speed reading. So the 3 spots that they have, if somebody gets all 3, you're out. But if you get all 3 on them, then you take them down, and you have to get at least 2 people to pass, and only the top 100 are gonna pass. Okay. So 105. As we see, they're going through the implication of their licenses so that they could become heroes. Now they were at this little getaway, this little boarding school, so that they can start learning how to use their quirks to a potential to where they can make a special move. So in that effect, everybody's coming up with new skills and stuff, and of course Meteora is like, I need some shock absorbers. Like, I can't throw punches anymore because my arms are gonna break. Like, I need something to do with this. And of course All Might is like, stop trying to be me, i.e. use a different skill, like do something else. So Meteora picked up, and I'll use kicks. Because Ida's all about his legs, and his legs is like, he's basically like a walking, like, F1 mega powerhouse of greatness. But he actually got the idea from when Ida was using these gauntlets that Haku, I don't remember her name, but freaking Build-A-Bear, ridiculous, but she made these things for his arms that are basically work like his reciprocal or like ankle, well, calf cannon, calf cow rocket boosters. She made some arm versions of that, and while he was thinking like, oh, for Ida, she was saying like, use your arms since you're so worried about your legs, and he's like, I'm so worried about my arms, I don't want to use my legs, so he switched it up. She made the steel gear, yada yada. They started the competition. Now we got a whole bunch of different schools that are high-ranking schools. They're not on the level of UA because UA is the top of the top. But these schools are like, well, sorry, you can't see that. UA is the top of the top. These schools are like right about there, probably like right about there. Not that far down, but they're kind of up there. And now this tournament is starting, so now they have to earn their licenses. I was reading it wrong, which you'll see early in the video when I was like, oh. But I was reading it wrong, and basically, to win, you're only 100's gonna get it. You have to hit the points on the body that are specifically to those people, which I'm thinking that they were gonna be hitting like dummy targets in these buildings, and they have to get through the stuff because when they dropped the walls of this little room, it happened to be this giant landscape inside of this stadium. So whatever. But it happens that they actually put these targets on the bodies of the people that they are going to be targeting. So everybody has a target on their body. The one guy that kind of reminded me of Rock Lee, which I said earlier, he happens to have his wind power, Senpun. But he has like giant clothes. Like he really, like, all his stuff is like gigantic and like massive. And he has this huge cape, and he has this like I forget the name of this, like Shikamage or something academy. There's like another academy, which is like, you're thinking that UA was the only place. No, there's plenty of schools. It's just that UA is like important because they're the most school in that region. So it's like, we're from the east, that's why UA is like the top. From the west, there is another top school. Like, we're not the only top school out there. So but this guy came in with the freaking force enough to take down 120 targets and like basically go all out. But the thing I read wrong was, I was thinking like, if you got 3 hits on a thing, you'll lose because you got all 3. Like, you're only supposed to be getting 2 hits, and that second one better be the killing blow, and you have to take out 2 people to get your pass, which this guy set the bar with 120 takedowns. So it's like, but the real thing is like, you get hit 3 times, you're out, but you have to take people out, and you have to take at least 2 people out to get your pass, but only 100 people are going to pass, so you got to get your numbers up. This guy already set the bar, so it's like, oh my god. Now, of course, as soon as the thing starts, you know, every class is gunning for UA, because UA made the television, and a lot of people are seeing their exploits all over TV, so they're like, oh, I know their quirk now, so we've got ways to defend against it. So it's almost like the battle of the schools. So this one girl from the same school that Mega Wind and Forehead Smash guy is from, I was thinking her quirk was like Minato, because she just would appear out of nowhere, and it looked like she threw something. Like, she threw the ball to kind of get him, but, like, then she would appear somewhere else. So it's like, yo, how did you, like, blip like that? Because I saw on the panel, it was like, one of them was like a ball that was flying, and then something else flew and then, like, stopped at the rock. So I was like, is that, like, another, like, is that, like, a shadow or, like, an extra projectile she's throwing so she can just, like, catch it and fucking... Or flying Raijin out here. I'm just using too many Naruto references. I love Naruto, right? But let's get back to Boku no Hero. So she uses this quirk, which when Araka popped out of nowhere and it's like, take my hand, and I'm like, as she's falling off the cliff, because oh, she's gonna fall. This is the time to take her out. And I'm like, but I was thinking to myself, like, can't Araka float? Which would mean, like, she would float and she could just kind of move out of the way of all of these, like, strikes. Like, she doesn't really have to, like, you know, sit there and take that. But, like, can't she float? For some reason, Meteor is catching her because, of course, you know, that's his boo thing. But, you know, he's got to catch her. But it's like, I was like, oh, man, yeah, that doesn't seem right. But, oh, well, Meteor is sitting there shining on and showing Araka how much he cares. Turns out, there's that same Minato shapeshifter. I guess she's a shapeshifter, so she can actually blend into things by disguising herself as stuff, which she said she did say earlier that she disappeared or used like a stealth tactic, so her quirk is probably like mimicry or something. But the chapter ended 105. So 106. So the chapter opens back up, and we got Toriko. God damn it, Todoroki, and we see that he passed the test. Like, we see that he clearly had the skill to be able to fire and ice his way into the league. Let me stop. But he goes into the like chill room where all the winners are at. You know, all the victory people are sipping their champagne of glory. But he's back there, and the one guy that I'm just going to call, because the name of the, gotta look at my shit. The name of the school that the other people are from is called Shiketsu, something to that extent. So, they have that, like, if you know Makaman Kancho with her freaking cool hat and her, like, giant
delinquent jacket and everything, like the hat thing. Like the hat, like this whole school, all of them wear those hats. So it's like they're like the coolest school because they got the uniforms, but they also have to wear the hat, and it's like, get it, the fucking Jotaro without the hair in the back. But I'm calling them the Shiketsu Cool Hat School, and he's Cool Hat Lee. So he's back there boasting about how he's so grandiose and how he did it with one hand and blah 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 blah. And then he notices that Todoroki comes back and he kind of does like a glance where it's like, oh, that guy made it? Crap, I sized him up, but I didn't think he was gonna get here this fast. So it was like a lot of the top higher up people in the UA are making their way in. So we cut back. Miss Chameleon, another student from the Shiketsu, was still trying to attack Meteora because she's trying to figure out his secrets. And like after when she's about to get to the point, because she's at one point where she's actually like scratching him for some reason. I don't know why she was using like scratch attacks, but that's just probably just to wear down his psyche. Out of nowhere, some freaking streams come out, shing, and just freaking stop her. Spider-Man Zero comes in with a freaking stop your madness. And then Araka, of course, she's coming with some force. Like she flew in there with a freaking swipe kick with some speed. So it was like protecting your boo. But they kind of thwart her plans of trying to figure out, and she like looks straight at Arako and is like, "I'll figure you guys out," and like says, "Arako Ochoco," like how do you know their names? Like, well, it's the UA school. It's probably like public domain. They could probably find out what the names of the students are. But this girl is like super like, I feel like she's the Naruto reference. The Kabuto, when Kabuto had the freaking cards, and he was like, this is what this person's power level is, and what their stats are. Because she's kind of like that person. But we cut over to another side of the tournament, or the examination, and Shocker Kid, because I forget his name, the one that if he uses his full strength, it's destructive, but then he becomes like a little bit challenged after that, because I was about to say retard, but delicacy. But he manages to find Bakugo, and they're like going up against this really tiny, squinty-eyed, like his pupils are so like tiny, and it's like, I guess for some reason, like this Shiketsu school, all of them have like the same kind of eyes, where it makes me think. Like, it's kind of like Eastern Japan, Western Japan, or like kind of like the blends of race in general. How like Japan's eyes, like their eyes are a little wider, but they still kind of have that olive kind of shape. But then like when you move more towards like China or Korea, they get more of a slender, like slim, very fox-like shape. You get what I'm talking about. But like I think that's just like the way that they're trying to display, like the Western side has more of a like sharp look in their eye, and they're more intense. But he's like dropping these weird like clay amalgamations that look disgusting, and I'm like, oh, what is that? And it's like he's dropping them all over the place, and Bakugo's like, don't worry about it, I got the heat to take him down. And I'm like, Bakugo going wild out again. Luckily, he's not on the side of bad, but it's like, God, it's like, when you see him fight, you're like, okay, he is super tactical, but then he's like super boastful and like, I'm the greatest, and I don't want to be left behind by Meteora, which Meteora was behind him, so it's like, he got a power boost, so now I'm feeling inferior kind of thing. But while all this is happening, Joke Hero is up there with Eraserhead, and she's like, oh, well, what are you trying to do? And, like, how come you know, you're not scared because it seems like the rest of the classes seem a little bit more adept for this thing. And Eraserhead's like, look, you know, my class is a great class. And it's mainly because of these two people. These two students, the shining stars of the classroom. Assassinations classroom. Come back. But, he was like, these two students in this class, they don't know it. They don't know their effect. But these two students have a gravitational pull that just manages to pull people together and kind of change their momentum, change their outlook, change their, like, perceptions of what is doable and what can't be done. And, like, the way that I described it for them is, like, the soft hope and the wild justice. So it's like, if you can tell who's who, but, like, you know, both of them have an effect on the class that causes them to band together and reach for higher heights. And it's like, he's like, if anything's gonna go right in this tournament, he's like, I believe in these two kids to get the rest of the class through it. And she's like, joke, because, like, it's funny, like, the entire time Joke Hero is, like, super, like, all over Eraserhead talking about some, oh, marry me or something like that. But when he says that, she's like, ugh, it sounds like you're in love. Gross. And it's like, it's like, oh, now when he actually shows some, like, attention to something, oh, now she's turned back the other way. I don't know if that's part of her routine, but it was funny. It's kind of cool to see it, like, Eraserhead give that, like, I believe in my students, regardless of what other people say, because of the two shining lights that brighten up this classroom. They don't have the best relationship because two stars will really just destroy each other in retrospect. But if they don't shine bright. So if you like the video, please leave your comments down below. Is Meteor gonna make it out? Like, he's in a bit of a bind, even though he's throwing them flying kicks of smash, which I really wish he would use, like, a different name for his move. I mean, he's super emulating All Might, but, like, come on, Meteor. He just said it, like, you're trying to mimic me too hard, my boy. Like, make your own way. Carve your own path. Be your own hero. And then Bakugo, of course, is blasting up everything. But if you like the video, comment down below, subscribe all over here. And don't let the fact that even though the two shining stars of the classroom still haven't made it to the end get you down. Because the dawn always rises on a new day. That thing would be to subscribe.
Alright, so over there is going to be, I did a Toriko review today. I did a Naruto review. Haven't done any Naruto videos in a while, but 475 seems to be the start of the final fight. And they're getting themselves set up. Sasuke dogged Sakura again, made her cry, and then punched her in her stomach psychologically and, you know, put her down. And Naruto's going to beat that ass, you know. So I did the review on that. And then Toriko's pretty lit. Asia's basically trying to figure out what the hell Toriko is. Toriko's like, I'm the strongest thing alive. Shocker's at the end. And then, you know, my Let's Plays are up there as well. But check them out. Also, I guess check out my boys' channels. Got a couple channels over here. So if you want to check them out, you can click their little, like, cubes. It'll go straight to their channels. And, you know, check it out. And I'll catch you later.